real quick.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Friday Night D&D. We're now down to 3. We were at 4. I am Jaso / the Wizard / the DMGM, and this is our returning from its holiday hiatus, our relatively new Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, PERPLEXELLEL. Who else is joining me this fine Friday evening besides Slim, who just stepped out to grab a drink? He will be back, though.
Sure he will. Hey everybody,
hope so.
I'm Luke, and I'm playing
Domo, Hobgoblin Warlord.
What's up, guys? I'm Kevin, and I'm playing Musa, a normal little girl.
Guys, I'm Maz. I'm playing Tali, Kalashtar Druid.
Yeah. And Slim is here. He plays Nasher / Flash, the Kobold Lore Bard. Thank you, all of you. Here he comes. This is session 8. Before I dive into things, as always, I love to give a shout out to our both artists for not only the characters for the stream, but also the NPCs. So thank you so much, both Peachy Yuri and Iruichi. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. What's up, Anna? Welcome. Thank you for joining. Redeemed inspiration. I see that. Who's the inspiration for?
Oh, do I get
for
another
Luke.
inspiration?
Oh yeah. You get 2 now, or
Yeah.
however many you have.
Anna got it for
They
you.
don't stack,
Gimme,
but you can
gimme,
have as
gimme.
many as you want.
Thanks, chat.
But thank you, yes, thank you, Peachy Yuri and Iruichi, for the character art. It means a lot. It really helps to realize our games, and it's really awesome, so thank you. We use Twitch channel points here on the channel. So as you just saw, probably in the chat, you can build up your Twitch channel points, even if you're lurking. As long as you're hanging out in the chat on the channel here, you're going to be building those up. Although if you are paying attention, sometimes you'll see the little chest down on the bottom left of the chat screen. You can hit that and get some extra points. If you follow the channel, you'll get an immediate little boost, a little handful of some points, I think, to already start buying some of the rewards. So make sure, and if you haven't already enjoyed the content here, go ahead and do so. You can see how many points you have on the bottom left of the chat. Just click on that little purple weird bit icon, and you can see all the rewards that you can use those with. We have some exclusive ones. A lot of them are geared specifically towards our Friday Night D&D campaign, because that's what I call our premier content. I'm largely a variety streamer outside of this, but that's the premier content. This is when I hang out with my buddies and actually put a lot of work into the stream, and just every other day I just completely slack off and just hope that people watch. Thank you, DBL Magus. Thank you, Raja. Thank you, Samosfa, for the follows this past week. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me to have your support, so thank you. Trying to push to that 450 follower mark, so if you enjoy it, come support the channel. We use stream stickers as well. Just mouse over the screen. You're going to see the purple heart on the right side. You can slap some stickers down. I tried to, I've been doing a thing now where like every week I've been trying to just set a good little handful of them for free. So you can support the channel using bits to buy those if you want to do the global ones, but you can also just do a couple free ones. And if you're a subscriber, you get channel exclusive emotes, like cute little chibi versions of all of our characters here, made by the Arms Dealer over on Twitter. So thank you, Bay, for that. We use the D&D Beyond plugin. I don't know why it only shows 2 of our characters. I have gone into D&D Beyond and specifically asked the dev team or someone from some type of support why that is, and they said they're working on a solution that's going to help some of the channels that probably are reeling from. I don't notice any other Twitch channels that seem to have an issue with this, so I don't. It seems weird. But hopefully they'll come up with some solution that'll make it work. I keep checking it every week to see. See all these stickers? I keep checking it every week to see if there is maybe a way to add the other characters. But so far, there's only going to be 2 here. But you can check that out just mousing over the stream and taking a look at that. Hey, also, this stream, I'm doing a giveaway. Strixhaven, the Curriculum of Chaos. However, it's specifically for Roll20. So if you love D&D, or if you're interested in it and you specifically use the Roll20 platform, which is what we use on here to control our tokens and do combat and things like that, and you use that for maybe your games or stuff like that, I have 2 digital codes that I'm going to be giving out this stream, so make sure you're hanging out in the chat. At some point I'm going to check it and maybe do a little quick call out for someone who wants it, and the first or second person who gives a shout out is going to get those digital codes that I will DM over to them. So make sure you are keeping your ears open for those going out through the stream. We've gone over homebrew stuff before. I think, are there people missing inspiration? That's my next question. Yes. Kevin, you need a card.
And I get an extra one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or, wait, do you? Oh, yeah, you do. You do. It's a whole other card. You're right. I thought that was a +1. Yeah, take one of those.
Yeah.
And then Musa, yeah, you snag one too. There you go. This is the opportunity, as always, if you don't like your card or feel like someone else may have a better opportunity using them, to switch now. Or forever hold your peace.
Nice. I got the swap turn order one. That's a good one.
Waiting for mine to load so I can read it. Oh, disadvantage one. Nice.
Oh, nice. And then before I go into the recap, and before I play the intro and we do the recap, which I'll give this week since we've taken a huge break. Hey, you get a +1 roll, Luke, from Mama Bear. Thank you, Mama Bear. What's up?
Dang. Everyone is giving me love today.
They're
It's
showering
great.
you. Maz, you got a +1. Thank you,
Let's
Mama
go.
Bear.
Yay.
Before we dive in, like I said, I just really quickly want to mention, I don't think I announced this on stream. I think I was convinced after we ended our last session. Every one of the characters started out this campaign at level 6. They have just achieved level 7. So does anyone want to share anything particularly interesting that their character may have got in the level up? You don't have to, but if there's something fun you may have got, let me know. Anything?
+2 dex, baby. Done.
Yes. Yes.
That's all.
I think I got access to 4th level spells, and that's it.
That's a big
It's
one.
pretty big.
For a sorcerer, that's
no,
pretty
I
big.
mean, I'm happy with it.
That's pretty cool. Hell yeah.
I have a bunch, actually, thanks to... What did I get, though, specifically? I got Polymorph
Oh yeah.
and Vitriolic Sphere.
I like that
Those
one too.
sound. I know polymorph. That's ended a lot of my boss battles. Thank you, Bailey. So let's see. Hang on just a second, Kevin. Immune to being transformed. Okay. Anything fun, Slim, Moz?
I completely forgot we leveled, but I remember the last thing we were talking about. It's either Phantasmal Killer or Ralotham's Psychic Lance. I'll decide in 10 seconds.
Hey, those sound cool too.
Slim, you got +1 from Mama Bear, so did I.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mama Bear.
everyone got a +1. Thank you, Mama Bear.
Yeah.
All right. Moz, did you get anything fun? I didn't want to skip you.
Still loading. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Well, let me know if there's something you want to share, like some cool ability or something. I always do that. Like if the characters get a level up, it's always fun to kind of talk about what you may have got. I'll go ahead and do the intro to our game, and then I'll give the recap, and then we can dive in from there. So hang on, guys. I'm gonna play the intro. We will be right back. Not everyone gets something cool when they level up. It could be like Luke did. He just got a little ability boost. It depends on your class and stuff like that. So
I think you get 4th level spell slots too. which is great.
Yeah.
Druids don't even
That's
got to
nice, huh?
choose. They can just learn something new every day.
Well, that's right.
You really can.
That's right.
It do be like that.
We got paid at the end of our last session, right? We had already gotten our money, correct?
I'm pretty sure you did. Yes, I think it was 500 gold. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right. All right.
That's right.
If we have any time, I'm going to try and buy just a piece of armor similar to what you guys did before. Cause
Yes,
couldn't
it
do
is
that last
bought.
time.
Just let me know what you bought. Absolutely. We won't do a Mercer shopping stuff. We're not doing that.
Shit, I just got to remember the cost and the roll on that. Let me look it up real quick.
You do that. In the meantime, I'll give a little recap from what happened last time. So previously, the party, who have coined themselves the Unlucky Seven, although only 4 in this situation, were previously parsing through the last of the available rooms on the crashed spelljammer. The party accessed Faw's room, and there they received instructions on how to use the last bits of the ship's arcane power to teleport them out, because they had previously found themselves trapped within, as there's no conventional doors or windows in or out of this particular spelljammer that they were on. With the last of the Heximal spirits captured using their Ghostbuster proton packs, all they needed to do from here on out was essentially escape. They found a broken owl construct within that everyone seemed to take a liking to, and they took it to the tinkering room and got it fixed up. It came alive, and the party then used it to access the spelljammer helm room, and following the recorded instructions from Fa, who seemed to be some type of techno wizard that she had recorded onto the actual owl itself that could basically just repeat what she said, the group was able to set off an arcane blast that sent them outside of the ship. They returned back to the ghostly town of Iriide, where Vedna and the other ghostly engineers awaited them. They asked the ghostly trio what the term Twilight is Coming means, and Vedna replies it is an old term that means the end of all things. The women then helped the group to return the Heximal spirits back to life using a old ritual. Their hexies, the suits that they wore, used the opportunity to absorb the now physical Heximal variant in its period of momentary exhaustion. And this energy that they had absorbed then sent the group back to Lexi's laboratory in zero reality. Members of the party have seemingly grown more untrustful of Lexi as she continues to obscure information from them. And when asked about the strange masked assailant on their last excursion, she mentions the party should attempt to avoid the individual at all costs unless they are certain they can kill it. They press her for more info, but she refuses until they finish their next excursion. Heading back to their rooms to rest, Tally begins to have visions of her Korai's memories, one in which her Korai looked her way and says, "Who are you?" And that's kind of where we're going to dive back in. What's up, Discordian? Says, I was really expecting a double cross from those ghosts after Six's theft. Yeah. I guess they've been dead for so long that they weren't all that concerned. Like, whatever. You got rid of the ghosts that have been, like, being a pain in our ass for probably quite a while. So they probably maybe had an idea that there was trouble ahead for the group and just let them go on to whatever fate that they were going to go to. So let me see here. That is where we last left off. Is Tally was, well, she's a Clash Star, so Tally was not having a dream per se. Also, I don't think you dream, right, Tally? I think you just like meditate to rest, and then sometimes you receive the memories of the Korai spirit that you're linked to. And let me
just a no dreaming sleep.
That's right. A dreamless sleep. Let's see.
Dreamless sleep.
Which, speaking of, as I always try to do, was attempting to end the previous episode that we were on a cliffhanger, and momentarily had sort of stepped over the wonderful description that Maz gave me for her Korai, and I explained it as a sort of wispy, smoky humanoid figure, but I want to retcon that because I want you, Tally, to tell me, what does your core eye look like?
Ishara is exactly like a spirit, like as you described it, where she definitely towers, or they definitely tower over Tally whenever they come out in like that corporeal form, with like multiple arms stretching around. Because Kalistars have shared the spirit for countless generations, each hand has like different items that they're holding from each of the different lives that they've loved, or
Sick.
or
cool.
yeah, just call like pretty much like I can't remember the god now, but one of
Shiva?
the Hindu gods with like different
No,
arms.
no, no.
I think it's Shiva.
Is it
Or
Shiva?
it's Kali.
Mekshiva.
Ganesh.
That's right.
Yeah,
Mecha Shiva.
There's multiple
But-
ones with.
Yes,
Wow,
I
yeah.
there's this one. Yeah, so it's very much just arms coming around with different items. And anytime Ishara, that's the second part of Tali's name, shows up, Tali's eyes glow or change of color. I don't know what Kalistars do. It said something that their eyes change color when their spirits show up, or when they're emotionally.
Like a link to their
Crazy.
spirit?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
Is that what it
they
is?
got like mood ring eyes or something.
They do.
Dang.
That's what it is.
Is
Yeah.
what how does Ishara is your Korra, correct?
Mhm.
How does Ishara identify? What is that like? Is it she? Is it they? What's the? What would you say?
Like, for me, I would say that they just, after 4 generations, 5 generations, they just stopped. So they just like they just interchangeably use whatever they
Okay.
want.
Okay. All right. I'll do they just because that's pretty like general. So, in your memory of your Korai, Tally, your Korai, you see the form of Ishara turn to face you. And they ask, "Who are you?" As they say this, there is a sensation that you get, Tally, one of seeming confusion. There is something about Ishara that feels disquieting, something you've never felt before between the two of you. Ishara looks towards you, at you, but also through you. You watch as your Korai moves towards you and then steps into your form. A sensation of your body being pulled as now you realize you are in the point of view of this memory of Ishara. And as you are pulled around, you now take sight of another humanoid male standing at a desk, huddled over several scrolls. His physique is muscled and well maintained. It shows through his black turtleneck underneath a large brown lab coat. His face is covered by a dark brown angular beard and medium-length hair with one piece that hangs forward where the rest is slicked back. One of his strong, distinct eyebrows furrows up in curiosity as he looks down to consider the blurry paperwork under his fingers. Behind him seems to be some type of greenish laboratory of some sort, though the specifics, the details in this dreamlike memory seem too muddied to fully make out. You, serving as the point of view of Ishara, through this memory, begin to slowly approach the man. As you get closer, there is some inclination towards you that this figure is a Klashtar similar to you. As you step closer, he doesn't seem to take note of either of you. In your mind, Tally, you hear your Korai's voice say, "Our souls are one, yet something tainted has taken residence here, inside of us. You are not who you used to be. Who are you?" The Korai approaches the oblivious man, reaching out as you do yourself to touch him. As the Korai does, a violent screech fills your mind as a blast of images pierces your thoughts instantly. Images of a vast sea of nothingness, yet still full of bizarre and maddening scenes. I think I have an image for this actually. Hang on. Here we go. That.
Ooh. Spookers.
Layers upon layers, Tally, of physically inconceivable structures and shapes, their morphic nature twisting and waning around a vast, milky white liquid river that floats freely through the chaos. Monstrously large worm-like beings made of impossible colors writhe as they consume the landscape, slipping from one layer to another. Large, blue orbs that rain from the sky, organic material intricately fused amongst the landscape in a myriad of grotesque and indescribable ways. You see masses of dark tentacles twitch and whip around, stretching from nowhere and everywhere at once. Shara's mind begins to fill with dread at the alien environment, you sharing this sensation. You feel the Korai in your mind howl in horror, and you wake up from whatever this meditative state was, this dreamless sleep, finding yourself covered in sweat. And I'm assuming everyone else at some point probably would too.
But
waking
we're
up in
not covered in sweat.
Well, no, not covered in sweat. No.
Okay.
Just sleeping.
Unless you had a meat seltzer last night.
I don't know what that means, and I'm afraid to ask.
Cracks open a can and throws one your way.
So last time we got paid, and I know we talked about, what we were gonna like spend our money on.
Mm-hmm.
After that, are we supposed to just go talk to Lexi?
Correct. You had the opportunity, as before, to buy whatever items you needed. Lexi had suggested something hopefully warm for your next trip. And from there, she had mentioned that she would give you, the 24 hours to rest. And afterwards, you would have your debriefing on, or I guess pre-briefing on whatever comes next. And send you off from there. You also had the opportunity to end up choosing one of 3 potential items to borrow out.
Oh my god,
as
I
it were.
totally forgot about that too.
I think we chose one because you gave us a small peek after the stream.
The Almanac of Common Wisdom was one of the choices. These are all under party belongings, by the way.
What did Six take? She took the hat, or
She
she
took
wanted
the hat.
to take the hat? Okay.
Yeah, the
So
hat.
she took the hat last time. This is
Yeah,
a
the
new
first
thing.
time. Yes, that's correct. The Frungulator was the next one.
I'm scared to take that. I don't think we should take
I think it was the book was the one we were looking at. I
The
can't
last
remember.
one was the portable anvil.
Yeah, and Domo explains we won't get much use out of the anvil because she can do most of what the anvil could do on her own. I still vote the book.
We were talking about how we always go to like new places.
And we could use it to be able to see stuff that we don't know.
Right, book. Knowledge is power.
The scientist in Tally agrees.
Domo, since no one, I think the only people that wanted something else weren't here, so Domo greedily grabs the book and shoves it into this fur-lined parka that she came out wearing.
All right.
The one sounds cool.
Yeah, at some point after sort of a agreement from each of you, one of the meta golems, who is sort of like the assistants of Lexi, these large, they're constructs, but they're like these large kind of bulky figures that are made from what looks like some type of copper or something, would come and eventually deliver these items to your doorsteps. Both that magical item as well as any other general items you may need. And Mousy is, what's up, Mousy? Mousy's buying a couple +1s for some people too in the chat. So looks like probably everybody in the party is going to get one. So everyone is allowed to use as many +1s as they want. You can keep running tally of how many you have. You just can't stack them. Just keep that in mind.
6 now.
Holy crap! Yeah, I need to start using some of these.
Yeah. Thank you, Mousy. But
Thank you.
I have
as many
used
as have been
two.
so
Just
far.
yeah.
Yeah, my issue is my successes are so successful, and my failures are such a failure that there's never any like question about when to use them.
I'll leave the ones for the others who aren't here as not complete, so I remember to give it to them later.
We'll be glad when we need them. I'm sure.
Tally, me, and
As you are pulling yourself back awake into reality, Tally, you find a note under your specific room that is addressed from Lexi, asking you to report to her when you have the opportunity. She wants to speak to you and you alone.
Dang.
I guess is there a shower, a bathroom?
Yeah, there's like in each of your individual rooms. They're not huge. They're pretty comfortably small, but they include all of the things you would need. So a bed, probably some type of closeted area to store some things, and like a little cube-shaped corner in that lets it serves as like a shower and a way to clean yourselves.
I'm thinking of like Death Stranding, but yeah, Tally gets ready.
Yeah, actually, yes. The kind of clean, sterile environment. That's a perfect thing to think of.
all of our weird has reset, right? Sorry.
All of your weird pressure has returned back to 0. Whatever weirdness you're experiencing in that collateral reality is gone. Yes.
Okay, Tally gets ready, tries to shrug off any lingering thoughts about a shower for now, and goes straight to report to Lexi.
Okay, you kind of begin to step out of your room. What is everyone else doing? Also, I need to give you an extra inspiration. Nasher from Mousy.
Thank you.
Is anyone doing anything else of note during this time?
Domo's gonna go to a nice cozy corner and start voraciously reading this book.
Musa is like a little kid staring into the shop that has the jetpack, just like
Oh yeah,
wanting it so bad.
Do you So you're actually using the book now, Domo?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Like just for flavor. She likes to read.
Spend a short rest consulting the almanac. You treat your preferred blah 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 blah. This almanac's magic can help you recall and find the location of a city's oldest tavern, but its magic won't help you notice the okay. Includes useful advice, facts, and statistical information on a wide range of topics. Okay, related to the area. So yes, as you read this book, you do find out that this is, surprise, surprise, a deep Neogokyo lab for the masterminds, and you are in fact on Neogokyo, so it includes all types of information related to that. Nothing probably surprising if Domo is at all accustomed to this world here.
All right. So that's cool that it changes per
yeah, it's like
environment
as
that
you
you're in.
open it and begin to flip through the pages, you're a little confused at first because they're blank, but then it's sort of like a invisible ink type of thing where the ink begins to actually grow more opaque and appear on the pages and forms into the information that is about Neogokyo and the surrounding area. So you kind of flip through there, and then Tally, you begin to head out, and there is a area on the far end of the hallway as you step out of your room that seems to have formed in the indentation of a doorway, and as you step up to it, it does begin to shift, and you can see the main operating room where Lexi is tapping on a screen as she invites you in. As you step inside, the door behind you closes, and the seam that was outlined in a rectangular door-like shape dissipates, just becoming like a flattened wall. Lexi moves away the floating glass panel that has a number of what looks like mathematical equations on it, and looks over to you and steps up to you, Tally, and says, Tally, I brought you into this project so you could help share information with me that would lead to the success of the PERPLEXELLEL program. You are special in that regard. I have pushed with some legitimate force to keep you here despite some of the masterminds' questioning of the scope of the project. I understand that despite my initial request for you to gather information regarding your individual excursions on other collateral realities, the real means that I have brought you onto this project, Tally, is to gather information related to your dreams, or rather, the memories of your core eye. With that said, I would like to ask you what memories have been creeping their way into your mind, if you would share them with me.
Don't do it. Don't tell that bitch anything.
Tally takes a second to think, but looks at Lexi and says, dreams are not common to Kalashar, so if this is the first time that it happened, I'm sorry to say that they're as unclear as usual dreams are. From what I remember, they were glimpses of eyes, glimpses of rivers, nothing that made sense to me because they are not anything that I could recognize. Tally looks around trying to figure out more on what to say, but I heard Ashara's voice for the first time. I know of Ashara. Our families know of Ashara. Ashara is passed down from child to child to child, but that was the first time I heard their voice.
And what did Ashara say?
Exactly what you would say to a stranger. That she did not know me. She asked who I was.
Any other particular notes? Any specific locations beyond the ones you explained? Particular noteworthy figures?
There was memories that were flooding my brain, and I woke, and just like any dream, they were too quick to catch. I don't think I remember much except for a field of eyes that I saw floating. Everything else kind of melts altogether.
She seems to study you. Would you say that you are purposefully obfuscating information, Tally?
I could say that my dreams are what you would say are your dreams. I can't remember every single thing of them once I awaken. I just remember Ashara because that was the only one tying me to those dreams, because that's the only link I have.
Give me
that is
a
common.
deception check.
$14.
All right. You see a flicker of numbers on the clear, transparent-looking glass visor in front of Lexi. And she says, I will remove some of the fog in front of this project if you would be willing to be as clear and as sharp as possible with the information that you receive in your memories. Would that be acceptable?
If she decides to invite me into her memories again, then I'll make sure to take good notes.
Then know this, Tally. This information needs to be held confidential for the time being. You cannot share this with the others. Is that understood?
Go ahead and share it with us.
Is there a way I could like turn on the little speaker button that we have to each other?
The speaker button is literally the Hexies telling one another, speaking out
that's
loud.
true.
Yeah.
So Lexi would probably notice that to try to muffle it. Yeah.
So what do you say, Tally?
Wait, could you repeat the last thing?
Oh, I should clarify. It seems as though Lexi is about to tell you some information, but she wants to keep it confidential. She's asking if you'd be willing to do that.
All right.
Very well. You are under the guise that I've been sending you here, from zero reality to separate collateral realities. However, this is a guise, a purposeful ruse for the time being. This reality that you keep returning to is, in fact, just another collateral reality. A temporary space for us to gather what I can before moving forward.
Oh,
The specific reason, Tally, we are in this particular collateral reality is because of you. In your home reality, as you've mentioned, you share a soul with a Korai, a being from the realm of dreams. You two are intrinsically entwined in your home reality. However, in this collateral reality, that specific Korai here does not share its soul with you, but with another. An important figure that could be attributed to as the progenitor of this entire project. I made a calculated risk to put you each under magical sleep in order to pull you here to this reality via the Hexies in an attempt to see if through your periods of meditation and rest there still may be some remnant, some part of you that is able to connect with the Korai whose soul is fused with this individual. His work, Tally, holds the keys to this project. A way of ensuring the Heximal entity and any of its variants are stopped for good. What I need from you is to attempt to try your best to connect, however faintly, with this collateral reality's Korai, and find out the last known location of this man. The fruits of both of our labors lie there, waiting for us. Can I count on you for something like that?
Piqued my curiosity for sure. I think to understand more, you can be assured that I'm still participating in this.
Good. I will need you to do so. It is imperative that this location is found. It is the next large step in this project. And without that ingredient, we are lost. So any information you can share with me to help pinpoint this place, the better. Continue to work with the others. The other collateral realities on these excursions I'm sending you on are important. But for now, continue to mingle with them. And should you receive any other memories from this collateral reality's core eye, please share them with me as soon as possible. You hear the shifting of the door opening behind you, leading back to the hallway where the others' rooms are. And if you need anything else, make sure to let me know.
Tally just nods straight down and just backs away towards the door.
Sure. You step back. You begin to see her pulling over that floating panel again and typing rather furiously at it. A couple metagolems kind of coming up and stepping over her shoulder to watch, pulling some of their screens closer and tapping as well. The door shuts closed behind you and you see the seam of the outline of the door disappear like it did previously. You now are back in the hallway. So, Tally, all of the others, you still technically have some time if you'd like. Otherwise, if there's no RP or anything to be had, after the 24-hour period, you would be requested to come back into the main R&D room that Lexi is in so that she can prompt you for your next adventure. So the ball is in your court. What would you like to do?
I think I would like to ask did we hear that Lexi wanted to speak to her alone?
No. This was
we didn't even hear that. Okay.
It was a letter
a
under
messenger
Tally's door, which if you want to share Tally, you can. But it was a note instead of like a magic mouth audibly asking for you to come see her.
And did other people see the note, or it's just
I
was the one who woke up?
You don't think so. It was underneath your door, and I would say for everyone else, none of you saw this happen.
Yeah, I thought it was like pinned on the door.
It was like that thing where they like slide it underneath for you. So.
Yeah. Gotcha. Is everyone back at the common room, I'm guessing?
I would assume that probably at this point there's a couple of you guys who are like stirred, like in this. It's like this dormitory hallway where each of your rooms are sort of adjacent to one another on both sides. So I'm assuming at this point some of you are sort of like out and about with your doors open, so you can mingle with the others if you want to, Tally.
Tally's kind of deciding on if they want to say anything confidential at this point. Kind of, they've kind of been invited into the secrets, so they don't want to like lose that yet. Is kind of what their thinking is.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
What are you guys doing?
I guess I don't have. Domo doesn't really have anything in particular, but she does want to psych everybody up for the next outing. You know, she's doing her little drill sergeant thing.
Musa?
I don't have any particular RP for that.
No.
But
Nasher, anything? If not, that's fine. Just checking.
Flash is just prepping for just properly getting cold weather gear set and also tuning all instruments and finalizing any legal recordings he's allowed to do from his room.
All right. So you
if anybody
each
pops in, that's it.
spend a little time doing this. The 24 hours passes, and each of you, whatever gear you bought, like I said, just make sure and let me know what you may have got from the PDF that has the stores on there.
Just some cold weather clothing.
Okay.
I bought armor, but I'll get to that later. Still can't find the page. I don't know where the page was for it.
Some of you
Yomo's
probably
got all of her like warm winter clothes on already.
some furs and probably some boots from some of you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As you each after the 24-hour period begin to head back towards the main room where Lexi's lab is. Are you guys leaving Houdini, or what's happening with the owl construct?
That's my baby now. Tali takes Houdini and puts him onto her shoulder.
Okay.
As a classic druid, that is now her familiar.
Okay. You now have Houdini. It does this. It's quiet, but you watch as it sort of does that swivel, a quiet swivel of its head, kind of like turns its head completely backwards to watch Domo walking behind you as you're headed back towards Lexi's lab. Just kind of looking around. You can see the optical units of his eyes, like a camera lens, increase and decrease as it peers around. And you each. Yeah. You each walk back into the main R&D room if you're all ready.
Sure.
You want to do some talent?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure if anything were to happen to Houdini, it's like what kind of mending would he require? He's like a technical bird. No, a mechanical bird.
Interesting question. I would say that does anybody have what's that cantrip that like fixes shit? Mending, is that it?
Mend? Yeah.
Does anybody have mending?
I do.
Not.
Okay, so then Tally, you would inherently know that unless Houdini's just like completely blown up or like dismantled in such a way that the parts would be unrecoverable, a couple maybe like an hour or so of using the mending cantrip would be able to put them back together.
Got it. Okay. That's awesome.
JTM says, I love watching players get new pets.
I don't usually get pets, so I'm very happy.
So you each step into the main lab and see Lexi stepping over and looking over each of you, kind of noting your new gear that you have on, and says, welcome back, everyone. It is likely that you have noticed at this point that you have grown in strength in the small amount of time each of you have been a part of this project. That is partly due to the intrinsically symbiotic nature of your Excel suits. While separate beings, you still technically share the same physical bodies. Thus, as the Hexies absorb other Heximal variants, they are also facilitating the dispersal of those energies within your own bodies, increasing your forms in the process.
Yeah, they're all right. Now that I'm used to them and all.
Feels more magical, if I can say that. It's weird.
Indeed, your power has grown exponentially in just the few days that you've been a part of this experiment. So then, down to business. The next excursion I'm sending you to, and as she says this, you see a illusory planet that is transparent appear before her. On the glass panel, but sort of projected a little bit out from it to give it a little bit of a ability to have like a 3D shape. You see what looks to be an almost featureless world that it's difficult to tell because it's just sort of like all this one kind of purplish transparent color, but it looks as though it is made up of a lot of ice and water. She says, the next excursion I'm sending you on will be to the uninhabited planet of Frigilius II. a frozen planet which receives no light from the nearby star due to the interference from its sister, Fragilius 1. It is a barren world covered in ice, devoid of most life. The area I'll be sending you to is an unnamed glacier on the south side where a Heximal variant has been detected. The probability of a Heximal survival in this climate seems implausible. But understand again that I am not able to quantify all variations that may arise in this collateral reality. I can only provide information related to the zero reality version and hope most of the factors that I've told you line up. Your mission, as usual, is to hunt down the Heximal variant, incapacitate it if necessary, and then have your Excel suits absorb the creature before it can grow in power. Is there any questions before I have you step on the platform?
When you say barren and sparsely inhabited, do you mean like civilization, or do you mean like beasties and such?
It is interesting to note the icy cold nature of the planet not only means that any civilized life has failed to function here, but in fact, you are correct, Domo, there is very little actual aquatic or on-land life as well. You should see little to no resistance, though this does beg the question how a Heximal variant would be able to survive in this environment. That I cannot answer you.
Oh, this is gonna be a walk in the park, everyone. All right, let's go.
When you are ready, please step onto the teleporter platform. I will then activate the shifting from this reality to the collateral one, she says.
Domo excitedly hops on the platform first.
Musa does as well.
Flash is gonna eye her for a minute and then just shrug and walk on.
Tally takes Houdini under and tries to get behind everyone, even though she's incredibly tall.
Yeah, you're like the family or group photo where even all the way in the back you're still
It's like
pretty visible, just towering over most everyone else. You each step on the platform, and as you do, similar to how you have always had this sensation, you watch as the sensation of your suits feel as though they tighten a little bit. You begin to see portions of the lab begin to turn into these fractals, what look like shards of reflective glass. They begin to spread, almost shifting into a kaleidoscope as the pieces begin to continue to replicate and move around in your vision. They pull back all of a sudden, and with a blast towards you, some of you now this time used to it enough to where you no longer block your vision or anything, throw up your hands. You watch as whatever pieces was left, like a mirror breaking, shoot by you, and you find yourselves in a new reality. And let me see here. All right. Gonna move you all. As this new reality comes through, there is darkness. Each of you are immediately buffeted by a sheet of rain that pelts your bodies from a cold, sheer wind. You can each hear the sound of yelling. The sound of crashing waves and creaking wood fills your ears. As each of you wipe away the rain from your eyes, you see yourself standing on a teetering ship amongst a black sea, the sky above, dark overcast that bears down on you. You can see several crew members dressed in what looks like some type of pirate uniform and garb, grabbing at ropes tied to the mast in attempts to keep it from being overthrown by the wind and waves. You can now see as the waves crash over the sides of the ship, covering the dark wood of the aged deck and wetting each of you. You try to maintain your footing as you see a few crew members push past each of you, before turning and yelling, "Who the fuck is this?" Before they can reach for their swords at their sides, a crackle of lightning pierces through the clouds above, striking the mast. An eruption of splinters and screaming pirates can be heard as the mast begins to arch over, the entire ship now cresting over an unbelievably massive wave. The ground under your feet is wet, slick, and you feel yourselves begin to slide as the ship begins to nosedive down the wave. I need each of you to please give me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
So you bet you sent us to the wrong fucking place.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Hey, pirates! Oh, God.
Good, yeah, free, yeah, no. Hey, I'm gonna save face on that one. I'm gonna use my first save face on that because
Hey, what's
Domo's
that do?
not gonna spend her. That's her hobgoblin thing. 3 times a day, I can re-roll something I failed to save face in front of my subordinates.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
And I'm gonna add a +1 to that.
Nice.
Gotta clarify.
Hobgoblins are very hierarchical, very military-based.
So, each of you watch as, let's see here, Tally, you begin to slide, and at the same time you reflexively just sort of like grab underneath your coat at Houdini, just trying to reflexively protect him as you begin to slide off the ship. You go to grab at one of the sides of the ship, the railing, but your hand just slips over the slipperiness of the water that's splashed over. As the ship begins to angle so far, both you, Musa, Six, and Vice, as well as Harper, are thrown overboard.
Oh no!
Both you, Domo, and Flash feel yourselves sliding, but each of you are able to quickly grab on. Instead of grabbing onto the top of the railing, one of you quickly grabs onto like the stalks that make up the middle pieces of the railing and just kind of grip on. You feel the ship almost go into a 180 tip down. It's quelching and this disturbing feeling to your stomach as you feel the ship lurch forward. And then, yeah, you didn't roll that natty once. That's great. Let me see here. You can each hear, those of you who fell into the waters, there is a splash. You feel the coldness hit your bodies as you slide off the ship into the dark waters. Each of you lands, falling inside of it, seeing up above the large shadow of the ship on the surface, feeling yourselves pulled by the massive strength of the waves. You kick and swim towards the surface. As each of you attempt to do so, you can only feel yourselves being pulled further down. You can hear the muffled sound of other crewmates hitting the water above as dark splotches are seen. And each of you who are underneath the water, your vision goes black. Those of you on board, which is some of the crew members, and Nasher / Flash and Domo, you've grabbed onto the edge of the ship. You can hear the sound of screaming pirates from the front of the ship yell, "Land ahoy!" right before the sound of erupting wood as the ship is righting itself and connects with a massive rock that is shot up from the waters. You each feel your bodies thrown through the air from the collision, the wood shrapnel shooting at you before your vision dulls and goes black.
With my last breath, I curse Lexi.
All right, let's see here. Let me see. Do this and do this. Everything went black for everyone. Each of you feel your bodies tremble. The unknown surroundings of wherever you are shakes, trembles beneath you, pulling you back to consciousness. As your visions begin to come to, you each notice that you find yourselves in a small wood hut. You can see Tally, Musa, Domo, and Flash are here, but no one else. This small wood hut, your clothes still somewhat wet from being warmed by the nearby fire pit, seems to be built in the center. You notice each of you waking from soft beds that are placed around here, with a few drawers being the only other discernible feature. You can hear the crackle of the fire and the sound of soft wind outside as it rustles through the trees. Those of you who are wearing your wintry gear, it is sticky and wet, and you now feel that the air around here is more of a temperate condition instead of the cold, icy nature that you were told it was going to be.
All right. Musa, what did you do to the teleporter?
I didn't do anything. I don't have any effect on that. I don't think I do.
Domo does that thing where she tries really hard to take off this heavy fur parka that's now sodden, and it makes that warped noise as she peels it off of her back. And you said there was a fire?
Yeah, there's like a fire pit here in the center that's lit.
Like, see if I can't hang up my my terrible wet parka in front of the fire.
As you, go ahead, Musa.
No, I'm just using prestidigitation on my clothes to warm everything so it dries, just over and over. Just
as you, Domo, and Musa are doing this, like you, Domo, taking off your outfit, and Musa, you kind of spending some time to, use a hand with some prestidigitation to just sort of like run it over like a mini heater. Looking amongst your persons, you realize that each of you are still wearing your armor and still have your items on you, but any of your weapons are gone.
What?
You also notice...
robbed, but only of our weapons.
You also notice that as you look down, Domo, Musa, and whomever else, each of you seem to all bear a strange patch on your hexy suits. It looks simple, like something embroidered. And it is a 3x3 circular image of what looks like a purple heart.
What the fuck? Do I recognize that symbol from anywhere?
Sure, give me a check.
We'll make a history check on that. 24.
You feel like if it was something specifically tied to something in your memory, you would. But this just seems like some type of generic purple heart. You've never seen this.
All right, I definitely don't know what's up with the hearts. Everybody's got a heart?
Yeah, looks like I got one too.
Can I confirm that with the players that aren't here? Everybody's got a purple heart.
It's only you four in the room.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. We didn't like backdraft the other characters. I see.
Yeah, so
they
those
just
of you
didn't
here
arrive with us.
Yeah, those of you here are actually the only ones actually here. Yeah.
Well, great.
I wonder where the others are.
Well,
Somebody say what?
clearly something went foobar with the old teleporter, and half of us wound up here in the middle of an ocean, and who knows where the other half of us went.
There must be someone else around. How did we get in this? Are we in a cave, you said, Jason?
It's a hut, right?
It's like a, small, actually somewhat comfortable hut.
Are we on, like, the floor, you said? I'm sorry, or beds?
That's okay. You were each on what looks like, simple beds. You can now feel the wetness of your suits have kind of wetted the blankets here.
Well, there's no one else in the room with us?
It is empty.
You
other
said?
than that. Yep.
Is there a door or anything nearby?
There's no windows on the hut here, but there is like a simple wooden door over to the side. Underneath, at the base level, is just dirt and a couple patches of grass, but mostly dirt.
Is there light coming from the other side of the door?
A little bit, but not much. You can kind of see it barely peeking through the cracks. Kind of do it's like that light where you can kind of see the dust in the air, but it's faint.
Must be someone else here. Who else got us here?
Domo cries out, "Hello, is anyone there?"
Oh,
Like loudly.
You do this, but you hear nothing in response.
Well, I don't get it. If they wanted to kill us, they could have just killed us and left us for dead, so somebody rescued us.
I mean, yeah, they rescued us for some reason, though.
Any of you lot can see magic. These little purple heart thingies, is they magic?
Oh, I'll do an Arcana check.
Sure.
Ugh, jeez.
And also-
I'll use one of my plus ones.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
Better than mine.
Yeah, it's
I got
a
a
little difficult
9.
to tell, Musa. You feel like there may be some maybe, but you're not exactly sure. Tally, with a 14, you are able to surmise that yes, whatever these simple-looking embroidered badges are on each of your outfits, they are in fact magical.
I suddenly don't want to go through the door anymore.
Can I listen?
What if they like explode?
I mean,
I want
this
to put
one
my
would
ear
try.
up to the door.
Musa steps over. You put your ear up to the door. You can hear the sound of what sounds like wind rustling through trees. Other than that, the soft sound of a nearby fire without a check. That's what you hear.
Well, I rolled a 9 perception.
Oh, sorry. Then yes, that is
No,
that is
it's
still
okay.
what you hear.
Yeah, I figured.
Sorry.
I figured.
Same thing.
All right.
Nailed it. Nailed
here. Tally also goes
quiet
towards
out
the
there.
door. Sorry, I'm sorry, You're quiet on my end.
No, 'cause it's quiet. At least I don't hear anything.
Tally also wants to do a perception check at the door.
Sure.
Okay. With 19.
19. You
Nice.
hear the same thing that Musa does. Nothing
All right.
stands out. It
Since-
is quiet.
Either we're prisoners, friends, foes. But I think right now we need to get warm.
Domo takes a few minutes to finish wringing the water out of her gear next to the fire, and if nobody's opened the door before then, she will open the door.
Oh, the fire's inside the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
a
I thought
fire
there
pit
was,
in
like-
the center.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought it was outside the door. We heard the crackling of the fire. Got it.
Domo, as you open the door, you now see. Are you like peering out? What are you doing?
Just like normal, like fearlessly just swing the door open.
You swing the door open, and I will show you what you see here. Hang on just a second. Just gonna move some stuff here. So you swing the door open. Let me move maps. As you swing the door open, Musa, You can now see outside. Seems as though you are relatively located standing in the midst of several other smaller huts, surrounding an area with what looks like one larger cabin at the end, about 20 by 40 feet long. Beyond that is a thick, jungly overgrowth that spreads around you. The foliage a strange mixture of green and bluish hues. The raging storm that assaulted you now seemingly minutes ago is now replaced with a sky that bears no sun, but it's lit with a magnificent aurora that shifts through its various colors as it lights the twilight sky.
First thing I'm gonna do after taking all this in is ask my little Hexy buddy if, one, he can talk to any of the other Hexy suits from our missing comrades, and two, if he senses another Hex guy nearby that we can capture, maybe.
Good idea.
Let me see here just real quick. What was I using for the Hexy voice? Uh-oh. Let me see. I'll just run with my normal voice for now. Your Heximal, you see two eyes form and then a mouth form at the side of your suit, and its small face pushes up, and it says, "We sense another Heximal besides ourselves here. Communication with the others of the team, though, impossible. Not sure why. Interference."
Shy.
That's not good.
Domo cups both of her hands to her mouth and again yells, "Hello, is anyone there?"
You give a hearty shout, seeing if anyone is there. And as you do, a figure appears over to your left, or I guess from your standpoint, your right. Your senses fully return to you, Domo, as Musa kind of steps up and out of the hut as well. You hear the sound of creaking wood that can be heard from the door of the larger cabin as it opens, and you see what looks like a female drow stepping out from within. She is donned in what looks like scout clothing, a dark brown shirt and pants, a wide brim explorer's hat, and dark black boots that look covered in mud. On her shirt is a green sash covered in several embroidered patches with various symbols and patterns on each. A purple heart, strange patterns, a deer skull, a black droplet, etc. Her face is softly lit by the nearby torches as a dark gray. Her long white hair flows out from the backside from underneath her hat. As she steps out of the cabin, she locks eyes with you as you finish yelling this, Domo. A wide, beaming smile forms across her face as she says, "Well, hello there, campers." She steps over and begins to throw out a palm to shake your hand, Domo, and Musa, who is now up at the front.
Hello?
Domo sniffs her hand and then shakes it.
She shakes your hand and then reaches over for you, Musa's.
Musa shakes it.
"Oh, get your friends out here," she says, waving a hand.
Do I hear any of this?
Yeah, you guys are
Yeah, the door's open.
6 feet away.
Does she see me?
She is able to see the open door behind you guys.
I have a feeling she knew we were
Yeah, she
here.
probably knows that you're here, my dude.
She steps
think
towards
it's a surprise.
the center of this area and just waves a hand. Come on, come on.
before she steps in, I use one charge my dose loot and cast invisibility on myself.
Okay. What do you do, Tally?
I also want to do. Trying to look through my spells real quick. Tally just follows at this point, just kind of trying to take it all in. Right, I was thinking if I had invisibility as well somewhere, but I didn't, so that whole plan went away.
Domo looks back at just Tali in the room, I guess, and just kind of does like a head motion, like, come on.
Sounds like the others are here.
What others? What are
the
these
others
people?
of our party? Well, that's a good question. That I'm not sure.
As you begin to
So,
step up, she says, "My name is Counselor Candy. Welcome to Camp Care," she says as she points over at a wooden plaque above the larger cabin that she exited from that reads the same name.
I'm out. Just immediate red flag.
Yep.
She says, "Hopefully that nasty old storm didn't give my new scouts too much trouble. It looks like everyone's in one piece."
Were you on that ship?
"Oh, no, dear, no."
How did you find us?
"I saw the whole thing happen. It's a good thing I'm good out in the wilderness. Was able to pull you back here to Camp Care. All safe and sound."
You mentioned scouts. You think we're your scouts?
"Well, of course," she says, pointing at the heart badges on each of your suits.
Oh, right. So, am I to take this we've been conscripted? Because we certainly did not come here with hot patches on our suits.
Well,
This
here
is new.
Camp Care, we work to ensure that everyone understands the basics of caring for that special individual in your life. And fancy that, looks like each of you already have earned your pre-challenge merit badge. You're one step closer to graduating already.
Merit badge,
There's no
is
voice
that like
mod
a
on this.
medal?
Like a medal, sure. Yeah.
So you didn't give us these heart badge thing, merit badge things?
Of course I did.
Oh, no.
I have
Right,
quite a
she's
collection
a counselor,
myself.
of course. Right, I see that. Where's her weapons?
Oh, those things have been put away for safety. I don't want y'all to get all crazy on me now.
Oh,
Well,
I'll be giving them back to you, of course.
well, we kind of have things we need to do. I don't know if we have time to do your camp games, though they may sound fun. But we kind of here for a reason.
Look, I understand that you find yourselves in a very interesting situation, but I can assure you, here on this island, there are dangers out there beyond the camp that each of you are going to want to be ready for. And in order to do that, you've got to be ready to show me your stuff. That's scout lingo for partaking in one of the challenges.
and then we get our weapons back. And a shiny new medal.
Upon receiving your final badge, mayhaps I give you your weapons back, if you've done a fantastic job.
Domo is very conflicted. This
Tally is
sounds
like-
like. Go ahead, Tally.
Tally is just telepathically telling everyone that I am 2 seconds away from melding into stone and disappears.
Now, wait. maybe this group could use a little discipline. All around here, everybody's always turning blue or summoning a turkey leg in the middle of combat. Maybe we need to, sharpen our survival skills a little bit. It couldn't hurt, right?
I mean,
Saying this is
could.
boot camp for the unlucky 7? Tally's like really surprised you're...
Or
Or unlucky 4. Really surprised that you're okay without your weapons.
I mean, I'm not okay without my weapons. But, maybe it would do you all some good to learn to live off the land a little. I mean, Musa here's never been outside of the lab before.
I mean, I guess it sounds like it could be kind of fun.
Nasher, are you also in agreement with this? Tally's
Masher's still like pressed against the wall like Solid Snake.
You
a
took
gecko.
the words out of my mouth. Exactly, just like that. Should I take a hide check or a stealth check, even though I'm invisible? I mean, would you
No.
want one? Okay, then I'm just gonna
I
be
wanted
as
to like,
quiet as
telepathically
possible.
talk to you. Yeah.
This shit sounds crazy as hell. Last time I was at a camp like this, they played music until people, well, couldn't dance anymore. I'm out of this shit.
Tally continues like sending out telepathic thoughts, just like, okay, find our weapons at least just in case. I don't trust this camp.
Can we talk back to you, like once you've opened communication with us, or is it just you send messages to us?
When you're speaking, you can speak to telepathically. Yes, it says mind link response. I can if they're able to see me and within 70 feet.
Cool.
I just say,
Well, they're almost certainly in that cabin behind her. So, listen, I'm not your mom.
Sounds
Somebody
like a
were
good
to-
idea, though.
Somebody were to steal our weapons back, I wouldn't raise Cain over it. No, sir.
I'm saying this telepathically.
Sure.
Domo turns back and enthusiastically goes,
What's our first task for our first metal?
Yeah, I guess let's do this.
Well, I appreciate the enthusiasm for the tradition of the island here. That is excellent. Now, I will require each and every one of yours involvement in this process. So if you're happy to give it that 101%, you'll be gathering your badges and getting off this island in no time.
We're gonna give it 110%. Absolute
guess-
effort.
Yeah, the three of us will do this for you, I guess.
Only
Right,
3?
Fred?
you guys aren't fucking fooling anybody. She knows there's 4 of us.
Yeah, the three of us. Me, Domo, and Tali.
Domo's eye twitches, but she doesn't say anything.
She chuckles and says, well, so then let's set some ground rules. Any good scout leader needs to have a few to maintain some order around here. First things first, we'll be running you through 4 different challenges, each in a specific area around the island here. Of course, guided by me to ensure safety. Each challenge represents a component of care. That is, compassion, assertiveness, reciprocity, and environment. Those of you who successfully complete the challenge are awarded that respective merit badge. If you grab yourselves enough badges by the end of each challenge, you'll be free to leave Camp Care. Simple, right?
And
Right.
say we don't get these badges. Just out of curiosity.
Oh,
Not that
there's
that's gonna happen.
failure is something everyone has to tend with. But in time, I'm sure you'll get all the ones you need.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding you right. Are you saying we have to stay here until we get these badges?
Yes, that would be what I'm saying.
Right, and what is preventing us from just leaving the island, say if we were to fashion a raft or something like that?
Nothing, she says with a smile. You're welcome to try.
I've heard you can try anything before, and it doesn't end well usually.
All the more reason under my tutelage, then, to acquire your merit badges and be ready to brave the world outside of camp.
How long have you been a counselor here?
Oh, goodness me. I may look young, but I've been doing this for a long time. I've trained so many of you young cadets, it's hard to count.
Right. So, care was the first task you said? Something with C? Starts with a C?
Compassion is the first.
Easy, easy. Hobgoblins are among the most compassionate of all races.
Now that is something interesting. Is that true? She says, looking over at you, Musa.
Yeah, Domo. I've never felt more love than I get from Domo sometimes. She's a real warm soul.
It's when she breaks her arm, I tell her to rub some dirt on it, and it's fine.
Now,
Passion.
Domo, I'll be honest. You're the first hobgoblin that I've ever had here at the camp. This is a special
What?
occasion.
Well, just sit back and watch me earn those merit badges, lickety-split.
Now, of course, I'm not going to just be running y'all dogged. In between each challenge, you'll be allowed to come back to camp and grab a little R&R for a few hours. I'll have some food ready for you in the main cabin, prepped up right behind me here for your return. But you're free to explore Camp Care as much as you like during that time. It's good to get to know your surroundings. But just please understand that it is strictly forbidden to leave this area of the island unless I'm specifically trekking us out to a challenge zone. See, there's all kinds of nasty things out there in the jungles. And I'd hate for all your hard work towards your badges to go to waste by running into one of them.
Right, and us without our weapons.
Domo
That's
says
correct.
with like a knowing glance at Tally, like winking very loudly.
How inconvenient.
Now, there is a bit of an issue here.
And what is that?
Before we dive into the challenge of compassion, I need y'all to separate into two teams. But in order to do that, I need a fourth member.
Oh, did you say our friends were here? I thought you said that. I'm sorry. Did I mishear you?
There's a vein forming in Domo's forehead.
You watch as she looks past each of you into the hut with a smile on her face.
Flash! Come on out.
Flash is gonna take a deep breath and step on out. Well, what's camping without music, everybody? I'm sorry, I was just looking for my trusty guitar. I'm sure you'd love to hear a song at some point. Isn't that right, Domo? And I slap Domo on the back as hard as possible.
Counselor Candy looks and says, "Oh my
Flash.
goodness, are you play an instrument? Oh, I would love to hear a ditty right now."
Oh, I feel like I'm dying, my lord. Kumbaya.
That's an interesting number. Don't believe I've heard that one.
Oh, you'll hear that and many more, I'm sure.
Now,
All right.
there isn't as many of you as I expected, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and let each of you divide yourselves into two separate teams. Go ahead and do that now.
You mind giving us a minute just to figure it out amongst ourselves?
Oh, take your time here at Camp Care. That's what it's all about. Relax. Take your time.
All right. Domo will grab Flash by the scruff of his scaly neck and drag him over here in the corner.
She's not getting, like, she's not stepping away or anything, but she's like not trying to listen in particularly. She just sort of like stands there with a smile and lets you guys kind of have your personal space.
All right, listen. She's clearly some kind of nutso wizard that's got this whole island laced with magic and booby traps, and she's aiming to kill us, right? I think we can all agree that's probably 100% what's going to happen here. But listen, I've been through Billionaire Bastion boot camp, so I'm sure I can get us through this, right?
Yeah, we can do this. Look at all we've done already.
I mean, granted, I did get kicked out of the Bastion, but...
Well,
I mean, never mind. Forget I said that.
that wasn't your fault, though, I'm sure.
Y'all want to draw straws? I know I can't choose favorites.
Well, I kind of figured since me and Flash are more magical and Domo, well, I guess Tali, you're magical too. I don't know. I thought maybe
Everyone but me is magic. You don't have to rub it in.
I guess we can draw straws. Unless anyone has a better idea.
Do you guys want to roll like a d4 and like two highest, two lowest?
Or evens and odds, something.
Domo takes a couple sprigs of grass from the ground and palms them in her hand.
They're blue.
We draw straws. Nice. Okay, Flash and Domo, Tali and Musa.
We'll look over Tali. I guess it's me and you.
Listen, if they ask us to do a musical number, we're set.
I mean, you're right, but he kind of looks around and puts his ear close or a mouth close to your. I kind of want to murk all of them. I mean, I'm not the violent type, but this place is really giving me the creeps.
Well, we're not. It's not going to come to violence. I mean, maybe we have a little scrap, a little sparring match, right? That's got to be one of the things.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
But did you hear all the wishy-washy names for everything? Compassion, reciprocity, or whatever she said. This is gonna be a walk in the park. When you're training with the Bastion, you gotta run uphill in the snow both ways. This is gonna be a vacation.
If you say so. I got a bad feeling about it, but I mean, look at the bright side. He just pauses and looks around.
Look at the bright side. Just nothing after that.
What? Which bright side?
That's my point.
Oh, well, that's.
Anyway, point being, this is gonna be easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Also, she's probably gonna try to kill us at some point, so keep that in mind. All right, Candy, we got our teams all figured out.
Oh, excellent. Who is with who?
We'll just step forward with Flash.
I'll be with Musa.
Me and Tali.
Oh, this is excellent. Now, of course, I am ready and raring to take you all to the first challenge zone so you can attempt to get your first merit badge. But before we do that, I can't just split you into teams with no names. What are your team names?
Oh.
All right, let me hit you with this, Flash. Team War Cry. It's badass. It has a musical connotation. And did you know I could play the drums? Because I can play the drums, right?
We go through with this, we make it a song too.
Team War Cry.
We'll even get Six involved. Make a little thrash metal. We can do it. No, just screaming, loud instruments. It'll be perfect. We can test it here.
Love it. Team War Cry.
Now that has a certain ring to it that I like. What about you, Musa and Tali?
What are you thinking?
Let's see. Team. Oh goodness, I'm not good at this.
The fluffy teddies.
It's just like something completely unmasculine and the opposite of the Team Warcry.
It can be anything you want,
Team Fluffy.
Musa.
We're going with it.
Team Teddy Bear.
Team Houdini.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, Team Houdini. He's our mascot.
Oh, now that is a cute name. Cute as a button. I like it. Team Warcry and Team Houdini. Interesting. All right. Now, of course, I made sure to give y'all a little bit of time to, rest up from that nasty storm. As long as each of you are ready and raring to roll, let's go start our first challenge, huh?
I guess so.
Maybe you could give us just maybe an hour to get our bearings a little better.
Oh, of course. Whenever you're ready. As I mentioned, the grounds of Camp Care are yours to traverse. When you're ready,
All right.
just give me a call.
Yeah.
I'll be ready to come meet you. Just make
all
sure,
right,
she
Domo.
says, turning. Don't leave the campgrounds. It would be a dangerous affair if you did. And she steps back into her cabin. Later.
Domo runs in, slams the door, and feverishly starts pouring through that fucking book she has. Just like,
Where the fuck are we? Where the fuck are we? Where the fuck are we?
Yeah.
It just sends out telepathic stuff. Just, what did you find? What did you find?
Oh, let me see here. I think you make a check with this book, right? I think it adds to some check you can make.
it adds a +1 to all of my checks for the next 4 hours that are int whiz or charisma based to like recall or glean information
Okay,
about it.
so give me like a relevant check then, using one of those from the book to see what the pages fill with that you can discern as good info.
I've got one skill with expertise, and that's the one I'm going to try to use every time. And
All right.
That's going to be history. And I'm going to add a +1 to that.
Okay,
Because I
13.
have many of them I need to use.
Sure.
And I'm going to add the +1 from the book. So that's 14 total. Actually,
right.
wait! Extra thing for this. This is great. Sorry, Jason. Stick with me. I'm trying to find it.
Take your time.
Tactical assessment. Another +1.
Oh, nice.
I rolled a 1 on a 1d8. That's my warlord thing I can do whenever I'm recalling history about something. I can spend a tactical dice to add to the bonus.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay.
Kind of a waste of a superiority dice, but okay.
The pages of the book begin to take shape into common words that you can read through, and you use your history check to just kind of use that in conjunction with the book and your tactical assessment to glean what you can from it. The book tells you that this is similar in some ways to how Lexi explained it to you. This island does not have a name. There is, at least as far as the book tells you, no villages or any types of larger settlements here. It is largely a wild, probably 3 or 4 foot mile long island from top to bottom, and usually has a host of roiling seas that run around it that make it dangerous to go to and fro. It mentions that this particular planet here is landlocked and does not see the sun. However, there is a environmental aurora. Tidally locked. Yeah, tidally locked. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Tidally locked. So you do not see the sun. However, there is an environmental phenomenon of an aurora above that always gives it a persistent twilight look to it. So it's kind of dark, but it's not dim light. It's kind of like a pretty thick moonlight if you think about it when you're out at night and the moon's out. So your vision probably wouldn't be impeded as long as you're not like in the thick of like a jungle. It is a temperate forested region of jungly flora, which is very different from how it was initially described by Lexi.
Yeah.
You can
That was
feel
gonna be cold.
the warm, kind of almost stuffiness in the air of like a tropical jungly nature about. It mentions that there is some wildlife here, and it mentions that there is a particularly large amount of amphibian-like creatures that exhibit their existence here on the island.
Guys, remember when we went to Camp Koatoa?
We're definitely not on the right planet, though, right?
You can make a check if you want to see how closely that may match up to what Lexi said.
An investigation?
Yeah, that would
we'll
work.
go with investigation. I'm not even gonna bother adding a 1 to that because it's a classic Luke 2 roll.
Doesn't
Doing
sound
great.
like everything seems so wildly different from what was explained to you. It would be hard to think that this would be the right place. It is an island, as Lexi said, but not a frozen one.
Or uninhabited. Do you think someone like tampered with the teleportation machine thing?
Hey, I wonder who could have caused that. Maybe the living science experiment, no offense.
I didn't do anything on purpose.
Alright, fair enough. It could just be that stupid Maester devices on the fritz, but we're definitely not in the right place. I mean, I can't imagine a world like this has got ice on it.
But your Hexi suit did say there is another Hexi here, though. So I mean, that's something.
So was it the Hexi suit that possibly moved us here?
Oh, maybe.
That's a good
Well,
thought.
how sure are we that Lexi knows that we've arrived
I
here?
guess we won't really know until we catch the other Hexi, and then we'll see if we are stuck here or not. Because it's just like an automatic thing. We catch the Hexi and we go back. I don't.
True.
Yeah. So I mean, once we catch it, then we'll know if we're still here.
That is the only test that we can try.
Did anyone notice if she was wearing anything that might be a Hexi, like one of them medals, or maybe a bit of, I don't know, something she was wearing that was white, maybe?
I asked the suit. Did you feel any Hexi presence near her, coming from her?
A mouth forms on the collar of your suit and says, "From that distance, feel like we would sense, but did not."
It's not on her.
So one last thing before we move on from the original 15 check of history that I
Sure.
did, Jason. Are there any like stories about like an island like this? Like I look for like specifically things that mention a camp or an island with blue grass and an aurora or something like that. Like maybe like a folk tale or an urban legend or something like that. It's fine if no, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here.
You flip through the pages. There's nothing that specifically points out this island, other than the fact that the book kind of mentions that there are smaller islands that are made up of patchwork in this unnamed area of this unnamed sea. And the book mentions it's weird because it's like it's almost as if this place is undiscovered by any explorers, but has still information written into the book by the magical nature of the book. So it's like explaining these locations, but like has no name for anything. And it finally mentions that if for whatever reason you would find yourself lost on any of the disparate islands in this area of the sea, to use the sister planet in the sky to navigate as a way to navigate.
Doesn't happen to mention the name of the sister planet, does it?
It also says that there is no name for the sister planet.
Got it. Well, in that case, Domo closes the book and defers to the rest of the party. She's ready if they are.
Musa would look up, though. Do we see a sister planet?
Give me a perception check. My God.
Oh, okay. 18.
We're gonna go through a session with no triggers of the list.
It's because Kyle's not here. He's a force of chaos.
Musa, it takes you a second to adjust to the darkness of the sky, but you actually do now notice a little beyond the shifting aurora above, the faint shape where the starlight is missing, covered by a circular planet. It does appear as though this planet has a sister planet nearby.
Well, that's something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where we're supposed to go. Hey, you know what, Musa? I have been to a camp before, and I don't want this whole experience to be bad for you. I'm gonna pull out a guitar pick and put it, like, in Musa's lapel. You just got your stargazing badge. Good job, kid.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Look to Domo. I cannot wait to leave.
Oh, come on. It'll be fun if we survive.
This is not
I'd like
fun.
to survive.
I've never
Alright,
went to
I
camp,
think-
but this is not what I imagine it to be.
At least we don't gotta do push-ups. That's the worst part.
I've heard stories about
Push-ups.
Domo starts doing push-ups excitedly and gets about to 6 before she gets tired and says, "Let's go."
Well, that doesn't look like fun.
Yeah, Tally saw you go down like once and just turned around and just walked out the door. So no. Physical exercise
fitness.
is not.
Physical fitness isn't supposed to be fun. Anyway, let's go do whatever this compassion thing is and get it over with.
Come on, teammate.
Let's go.
You look around. No one else
Hey,
is here.
Counselor Candy.
As you yell this, 10 seconds pass by, and the door to the larger wood cabin opens, and Counselor Candy steps through the darkness. Oh, well, hello there, campers. Have you all gotten yourselves ready for our first trip?
Sir, yes, sir.
Oh,
Excellent. That's great news. Well, I've got my handy machete here, she says, holding up a machete. So, let's go ahead and go.
Oh, no.
lead the way, I guess.
You got it. Everybody follow me and stay close.
Yeah, I do that.
You all begin to follow Counselor Candy. She begins to
How tall is
lead
Counselor
you.
Candy?
What's that?
How tall is Counselor Candy?
She's probably like 6 foot tall. She's 6 foot tall.
I just want to be taller than her, so I'm just gonna grow taller than her.
Okay.
so Tally and Musa are Tally's 6'4", so you're just we're just a tall group.
Domo glowers at both of you.
You each follow Counselor Candy, and she walks her way past these nearby huts and torches planted into the ground, and along a dirt trail that kind of leads into the darkness of the forest that has the foliage that's a mixture of deep blues and some greens, and she begins to leads you through, and you begin to walk along this trail that begins to slowly dissipate a little. It seems as though she seems to know where the clearing is after the kind of well-walked dirt path underneath gives way to the lush foliage underneath your feet. And at a certain point along the journey, she begins to hack away at some of the vine work and stuff that seems to get in your path as she leads you through. After trekking with her for about 15 or so minutes, you find yourselves entering into an area of what she had described to each of you as the first challenge zone of compassion. You can see in this area that the actual words compassion are etched in stone above the visage of an old ruin that I'll switch over to here. You can see surrounding this area are what looks like 2 rows of pillars in the center, cracked and eroded, and they stand amongst this ruinous site here. You can see in the middle, laid out straight, is a rope that stretches on for several feet, and in the center, kind of set close to the rope, looks to be a black skull on the temple grounds.
Oh no. Are we about to get Squid Games? Is this what's going on?
She turns back to each of you and says, okay, for this challenge, you'll be working to obtain the compassion badge. Each of your teams are going to need to take separate sides of the rope. Now, compassion is a vital value to caring for others, but you can't have any compassion without any lick of knowledge about one another. That just wouldn't do. So, for your first challenge, I want each of you to take turns coming up with 2 lies and 1 truth about yourself. The other team's job is to listen to the 3 and pick the truth. The perfect exercise to get to know one another. After guessing, each of you will play a little tug of war with the rope here. And if the other team guesses your truth correctly, they'll have advantageous experiences. You each attempt to use all your strength to tug the rival team towards the black skull. Whichever team is able to pull the others to touch the skull in the center will win the challenge. And that team will receive your compassion badges.
Oh. Well, this stings. I haven't done anything. I
Doesn't
haven't left the lab.
sound too bad, I suppose.
Now, of course, the special rules for this particular challenge are you're restricted from using any tricks like magic or such to get a leg up. This one is pretty straightforward in that regard. Friendly trash talking is all well and good, but otherwise this is a nice clean challenge to kick the camp activities off. If I catch you trying something tricky, I'll have to penalize you. So then, go ahead and take whatever spots you like on each opposite ends of the rope and we'll begin.
There's a skull. Is that a skull?
It is a black skull in the center.
Black skull. She didn't make any notice that I am now as tall as Tali.
She didn't seem to take note of it. You can stay where you are, Domo.
Domo turns to Flash and says,
You see how fucking tall they are? You think they're compensating for something?
That lower center of gravity, easier to tug.
Yeah, right.
Tali sends out a message to Musa and says, anyway, you could change it to someone who has a thick set of legs. If you're going to be our anchor.
I increase my weight by I don't know. I look like a kind of like a more like a bodybuilder, female bodybuilder.
Okay.
You're our anchor,
Like
so
just like solidly built.
Just
yeah.
like this jacked child.
Yeah.
This
Thick.
6'4" jacked child.
She looks like
Tally
those.
takes the
Oh, go ahead, Tally. Sorry.
Tally takes the rope and pulls it around Musa's waist, and says, "This is it, anchor. This is what you gotta do. Gotta stay firm." And starts like threading it through.
What's gonna be really funny about this is all cosmetic. I am so weak.
Musa looks like one of those like anime characters that have like the very girly look, but they're super muscly and have like the masculine face with like ponytails.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We need to fan
All
art
right,
of that.
so
No,
In
you know,
real life, I would be weak too.
Who she looks like? She looks like Armstrong, the female.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh no.
That's perfect.
all right,
I love it.
So we just gotta come up with one true blue and two porcupines about ourselves then.
That's correct. Team Warcry, I'm going to have you, Dumo, come up with 2 lies and 1 truth, and then the other team, Team Houdini, is going to attempt to guess which one is correct. If they do, they'll get advantage on a saving throw that each of you are going to do at the end. So one team is going to come up with 1 truth out of 2 lies, and the other team is going to guess. If they get it right, they get advantage on their saving throws. Otherwise, after that, each of you are going to do tug of war, and whoever collectively loses is going to be the one who's pulled closer to the skull.
I'm gonna need a minute to think about this.
So 3 as a team or 3 each?
No, 3 each. So two lies, 1 truth.
So Domo is starting first. So Domo, you're going to come up with 2 lies and 1 truth, and then collectively Tally and Musa are going to attempt to guess, and then you'll have the first tug battle, and then it'll switch over. Tally will then do hers, and then you guys will guess, and then it'll just go back and forth.
Can we get a couple minutes on this? Like maybe take a phone break.
Yeah. Let's. That's a good idea. We still got some time here. Let's take a quick little 5-minute break. So try to. This is out of game. This is maybe a good way for some of you to come up with some maybe interesting tidbits about your character that, if you want to, maybe have it be shared. Information that hasn't been shared before about your past or stuff like that, if you'd like. Or just come up with obnoxious, silly stuff that no one cares about just to try and win the game. It's up to you. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a little 5-minute PP break, and then we'll come back and we'll start this off to give you guys, kind of throw it at you, so it'll give you a little time to maybe think about some stuff about your character's backstory. So think about that. We'll take us a little quick PP zone break, and then we'll be right back, everybody. All right, we're back. Sorry, we had a 10-minute Matrix discussion. Oh man, we need a. I've honestly considered some type of like. I know there's a million out there, but like I love talking movies and.
I mean, we'd be better than like
books and
75% of the
I do
hacks
feel
out
like
there.
it would be entertaining. Yeah, you're right.
At least we have kind of informed opinions.
That's true. That's true.
And a diverse viewpoint.
That's true.
Very true.
A lot of different viewpoints on stuff.
You got that right. So, each of you find yourselves at the end of this simple rope. In the middle, on the ground, set a black skull. Whoever's team touches it loses. Camp Counselor Candy had suggested that Domo, you start things off by giving the other team 2 lies, 1 truth, and then Team Houdini, made up of both you, Musa, and Tally, are going to try to guess which one is the truth to hopefully learn more about one another. If you successfully guess correctly, afterwards, all of you are going to make a strength saving throw. If guessed correctly, that team who did guess gets to do it at advantage. And then I'm going to take I'm going to add up both of your saves, and it's going to be versus the other team. So if you get advantage, all the more better for each of you. So
Nice.
go ahead, Domo, and let's see what you got.
All right. Let's try these on for size. Facto number 1. Me dad was a blacksmith, and he taught me everything he knew. Fact number 2. Bastion promoted me right after me first mission on account of me leadership. And fact number 3. My favorite ice cream flavor is pistachio.
All right, Tally. So I think fact 2 is a lie. Because I remember Domo saying she was kicked out of the Bastion boot camp thing, so I don't think they promoted her to anything. And then, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I really believe her favorite flavor is pistachio.
I was thinking that too. I don't think I've heard her talk about anything about blacksmithing. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I agree. I want to go with pistachio as the truth. We're gonna go with pistachio is the truth.
Candy looks over to you, Domo, and says, well?
I'm lactose intolerant. I hate ice cream. No, Bastion. Of course, the truth was Bastion promoted me right after me first mission, from corporal to lance corporal.
How did they
On
come
account
with you when you got kicked out?
I didn't get kicked out till I was a corporal.
Oh.
And I didn't get kicked out. Who told you that?
You told us that.
You did
Oh,
this.
shit. I must have misspoke. Regardless, I win. So there.
Another inspiration from Tiberius.
All right, yeah, you're going to get inspiration, Mo, so go ahead and grab you another card from this deck. And then Team Houdini, doesn't sound like you're able to guess correctly, but that's okay.
Oh my god, how do you add this? Sorry,
Right
I'm
click
always
it.
struggling with this.
Right click it and do take card.
Take card.
Yeah,
Thank
there you go. I'm going to have each of you now, as Candy looks and says, all right, it's tug of war time. And I'm going to have each of you make me a strength saving throw.
Oh God. And I roll with advantage. Is that how it works? Or
if
they would have rolled advantage if they guessed correctly.
Correct. If you can guess correctly from the other team, your team collectively will get advantage. But it's tough to do with 3. So.
I'm gonna.
I think I'm gonna save my inspiration for now.
I'm gonna use
Also-
one of my.
Yeah, you can use your inspirations. Saves do not trigger the Wyrd, but any other checks will. And Mousy has triggered the volatile Wyrd, so just keep that in mind. That'll last the rest of the session.
I have a question.
Sure.
I have an inspiration card that says immediately re-roll a d20 another creature just rolled. What does that mean?
Any other d20 that someone else rolled, you could re-roll and use the new result in that place. So if you wanted to do it to help you or your teammate Musa out, you could. If you wanted to do that to screw over one of the other teams, you could do that. Only one team, as Candy has mentioned, can get the merit badge of compassion.
Yeah, let me roll first.
All right.
And
I'm
then
gonna take advantage on mine.
okay, so I use my inspiration card. Let's see, on Domo's roll.
Oh shit! All right, so give me another roll.
Oh, all right.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh,
Nice.
that's the worst.
Oh
Can
no!
you save face?
I don't think that works in this scenario.
No, not in this scenario. So with that in mind, let me see if I did this correctly. It looks as though Musa and Tally's saves are higher number collectively than Flash and Domo. So what that means is each of you struggle, Flash and Domo. You think you have it in the bag, even though Musa looks like a muscled monster. She is still, in fact, that little girl you know who is largely a spellcaster. But you find a surprising amount of strength being pulled from the other end as you find yourselves being pulled closer to the Black Skull by one space.
Are you sure that fucking muscle builder form is just cosmetic?
128th,
How it used to be.
128th gave you another +1, Domo.
Nice.
Nice.
So it's going to transition over to you, Tally, for your 2 lies and 1 truth. But before we go there, just really quickly, before I forget at the end of this session here,
Oh yeah.
who in the chat wants a digital code for Strixhaven or Curriculum of Chaos? You can get a code for the Roll20 version now. All you have to do is say me. Post it in the chat. I'll DM you the code. You get the Strixhaven content on Roll20. So if you play Mousy, you got it. Discordian, you got it. There you go. Perfect. Congratulations, both of you. I will shoot you your codes after this session. Congratulations. That way you can. You're close, JTM. You're close on the draw. But congratulations, Mousy and Discordian. I'm gonna send you guys those codes. I appreciate you always hanging out with me and being part of this community. JTM, I do more giveaways, so not tonight, but I will be doing more in the future. So keep your eyes peeled. So yes, I'll be sending those over, and that should be some cool stuff. You can give it to JTM since I'm a mod. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mousy. JTM, I will be sending you the digital code for Strixhaven over on Roll20. So thank you very
Mousy's
much.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was nice, Mousy. Thank you. Tally. Counselor Candy looks over and says, "All right, Team Houdini, why don't we start with you, Tally? If you'd give the other team 2 nasty lies and 1 truth, and then they'll try and guess."
All right. Number 1, I am attempting to or have succeeded in smuggling samples of all of your DNA for my further research.
Musa looks at Tally's like, what?
2, I have 3 fathers and 6 mothers. And 3, I am a strict vegan to my druidic cause.
Huh. Guess I never really paid attention to what you were eating.
I turn around. I turn around to Flash.
What do you think, Flash?
I think she's a vegan because I don't think she has all of our samples yet.
I also think if she was collecting our samples, she wouldn't just reveal it to us like that.
I think she said when the turkey leg popped up, she was a vegan. I think. I don't know.
I don't remember that, but I'm gonna trust your intuition on this one. We think you're a bloody vegan.
All right. Go ahead, Tally.
Tally just smirks a little bit, but says, actually, I believe that you should eat whatever you want to eat. And I very much wanted that turkey leg. As much as you did.
Wait, so which one was truth?
Oh, do I have to reveal that?
It's up to you, Candy says. This is all about getting to know one another. Either way, they're not
If
going to
you
get
do-
advantage on this tug.
Well, in that case, I do have 3 fathers and 6 mothers.
Insight check.
Okay.
Can I make it?
Musa just takes it at face value. Like, oh, good, not fucking an
It is the
egg.
truth. Okay.
It is the truth.
That's a big family, Candy says.
It's a big old, a lot of compassion to go around, right?
It's weak. I don't know.
Our families don't have structures as you would call a family structure of your own. Our families are based on spirits, not.
All right. I can get down a little chaotic. All right.
Candy says, that is a very interesting culture. Now it's time to tug.
All right, now I'm gonna use advantage on this.
All right. We got an advantage from Domo. You get a +1 to your rolls, Flash. Keep that in mind if you want to add
I'm
one.
gonna use one of my +1s.
All right, so
So it'd be a
16
16.
overall. So I'm just going to punch this in so I remember.
I will
19.
Also use +1.
Hype. Let's see, so that's 35 for that team.
Yay, we win!
Yeah. Each of you begin to tug. This time, Domo, you and Flash are pretty resilient. You don't want to be upstage like you did last round, and you find yourselves pulling each other back to the middle.
Domo's doing, 1, 2, pull. Doing a little war chant.
You see Candy look and say, well, back to the drawing board. All right then, Team War Cry. Why don't you give us 2 lies and 1 truth? Come on now, Flash.
Well, I make up all of my sponsors just to sound cool. Well, I'm an only child. And, lastly, my music's not just for money, but for a lot more.
What was the first one again?
Quick recap. I make up all of my sponsors to sound cool. I'm an only child, and my music's for more than just money.
Well, I think he really is on the radio, so I don't think he can make up sponsors. That would probably get him shut down, I feel like. So I think that might be false.
And I feel like he really does love his music way more than for money, though. You can feel it sometimes. He just gets so passionate. But he does talk about his sponsors a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like those are. I can go with the music one. That could be it.
We go with your music is more than about the money.
They got us this time, buddy. Sorry.
You made it pretty easy, didn't you?
Congratulations, Team Houdini. Y'all guessed one. So it's time to tug, but this time you'll have a little bit of an advantage. So you guys get to make your strength saving throw at advantage. Screen says if he made up sponsors.
Oh my fucking god. This is the 5th one I've rolled this session!
Oh no. Oh no.
You said we have advantage, so I could roll again?
You don't really have to.
You don't need to.
No.
The 7 beats us. The 7 beats us.
You hear the shifting sound of boots on stone as Domo and Flash are pulled closer to the skull. All right. Seems like old Team Warcry's one step closer to touching the skull. So then, let's move back over to Houdini. Musa, why don't you give the other team 2 lies and 1 truth?
All right. The first one is that I'm actually 50 years old. They've had me in this lab for much longer than I initially let on. My second one is that when my magic first appeared, I caused everyone in the entire Mastermind's laboratories to be frozen for 6 hours. And then my third one was I like playing pranks, and I made all the faucets in the place also run with ketchup for like 3 days.
All right. Flash, I think that third one is a red herring. I think it's gonna be like she did do that, but it ran with like mayonnaise or something else.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
All right, we're gonna go with number 2. When you awoke, you froze everyone for like 6 hours in the lab.
Yeah, you got it. Good job.
We did it. Good job, Flash.
Excellent job, Team Warcry. Time to tug.
I am.
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ!
Oh my God! Both of us with advantage. I'm gonna use my other +1 on this roll.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna use a +1 too, because this is
Sure.
ridiculous.
That's a 13 total. I am not strong.
13 and an 8.
I'm keeping a running tally.
Wait, are we doing deck saves?
Actually, yeah.
No.
Do a strength
Right.
saving throw, Musa.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Not good.
Oh,
either.
okay.
But let's see. So Domo's you
8.
used 1 + 1. Domo. It's an 8.
Yeah.
Flash has a 12. I'm gonna use a +1 also.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's a 13 total. Sorry, because I had a +1.
Mm-hmm.
I also have
So we're 22.
+1, so it's 12.
And I have a 10. So we both have 22. It sounds like.
Oh.
You had advantage on yours?
I used my card.
Oh.
Oh, actually, I know she said magic is a no-no, but is like using a reaction.
Hey,
Like
if
magic?
you use magic, I could have been helping Flash this whole time with
Okay.
no warlord powers.
No, that's fine then. It sounds like we both got 22 then.
Each of you
a
tug
tie.
hard on the rope, but find yourselves unable to pull each other team anywhere. It's a stalemate. Well, look at that, Candy says. Y'all seem to be pretty matched up evenly right now. Let's see if we can tip the scales one way or the other. Why don't we go back to Team Warcry and have you, Domo, give us a couple more?
Oh, glad I'm back.
Oh, are you fucking serious? All right. Me father was a drunk, and he was good for nothing. See, like that, it was like it branches off of the first one I said. I got kicked out of Bastion for being too good and making the rest of the soldiers look bad. And when I was a wee lass, I raised chickens in the backyard.
One recap for me, please.
Sure. 1, Dad's a drunk. 2, Bastion kicked me out because I was too awesome and made the rest of the soldiers look bad. And 3, when Domo was a little girl, she raised chickens in the backyard.
Still, I feel like 2 is a lie.
I agree.
fuck
I agree,
you.
Musa.
And
Now think of it as we expect better of you.
What? So last time.
Last time was me. Dad was a blacksmith and taught
he
me
was
everything he knows. But that wasn't the true one.
That wasn't the true one.
Yeah.
What was the true one last?
Bastion promoted me right after my first
That's
mission.
right. That's right. So maybe the drunk's the real one, since he wasn't a blacksmith. Maybe he really didn't teach her anything.
This one, yeah, let's try it.
Sure, why not?
Number
We're gonna say
one.
number one is true. Yeah.
No, my dad was a farmer and quite industrious. Hence the chickens he raised.
That
What was the
is
truth?
Nothing will teach you discipline like a rooster crowing every bloody morning when the sun rises. I tell you that much. And that's
I had a feeling it was chickens.
Domo, you got another +1.
excellent.
all right. With that, time to tug. So straight rolls from everybody, unless you want to add +1s or your whatever's left of your, or getting towards the end.
Jesus
So
fucking
don't hold off from using your inspiration if you want.
Come on,
Tally
Tally.
Going
strong.
to
Be
use
low.
my last
Low.
+1. So 13 total.
I'm gonna use a +1 also and make my 8 a 9.
It doesn't matter. I'm on 1.
Yeah.
Don't waste it.
Yeah.
I promise you guys, I only get this competitive with tug of war. It's just
Yeah, in order to make Musa look good, Tally, you thoroughly grip the rope and pull hard, pulling the team one step closer to the skull. Excellent work. Seems like Team Warcry is closing in on the skull. Why don't we move back
Andy?
over to...
Let us think about it for just a fucking minute.
Take all the time you need. But first, let's go to Team Houdini. Tally, why don't you share another 2 lies and 1 truth?
I didn't get a chance to give it. Give me 1 second, I'll be right there.
Sure. You could switch to Musa if you had some, Musa. No, it doesn't look like... Okay. Maybe Musa needs some time.
Whoever comes up with them first.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
An interesting opportunity to come up with some backstory if you want. Paige, those were done by Peachy Yuri over on Twitter. She did an amazing job. Go check her out and give her a follow. She does good work.
A 2.
You just got 2 too.
Got the truth in 1 lie.
There's no campfire here, but you hear the soft crackling of fire nearby.
This is like we're frozen in time. We're like,
Yeah.
we're still mid tug.
Are we stuck in between bullet time?
Yeah. I have a new trick. It's called bullet time. Who would have known? Here, we'll do this.
Did you guys know I'm trained in strength saving throws? Just thought I'd throw that
Oh
out there.
no.
Just putting that in the ether, you know?
It's helping you a lot.
No, it's not, actually.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Oh,
Both of us got it at the same time.
It's a tie.
that's fine. I'll be ready for next time.
All right.
Okay. Thank you guys for waiting. Number one, I loathe any kind of pie, any fruit, any kind of savory, all
Oh,
pies.
that's a lie. No one hates meat pie. That's got to be a lie.
I lost a child and I vowed to never have another. I left my home hoping to never return to the clan I call my family.
Yeesh.
Ooh, she threw you some toughies.
It's heavy. Kind of makes the pie seem rather insignificant by comparison. What do you think, Flash?
I look over and say, if either of the second are true, my apologies for whatever your reason is. Then he turns back and looks to you. I have no clue.
I think it's number 3.
I think number 3 is true.
Why else would a druid be so far from home in such a, technological place? All right, we're gonna say number 3. You had to leave your clan behind.
I will say you are incorrect.
Damn.
I only left them.
I'm gonna do you a favor since.
Sorry.
Sorry,
It's
go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
It's the stupid internet. It sucks.
I only left them behind to learn of new things to save them.
All right. Fair enough. I'm not gonna ask which one was true. We can keep that one under wraps, but I know number 1 couldn't possibly be true. Everyone loves fucking pie.
Yeah, I take my previous statement back, knowing that 1 or 2 is true. Either one, my condolences.
Exactly, my condolences.
And with that,
Pretty
it's time to
excited try
tug.
pie one day.
All right, here we go. Hey, something above a 10.
God dang
But
it!
Tali just keeps building out these fucking 19s.
Oh God! Wait a minute.
I
So,
think we still won though because of Musa. Only because of Moose's crap roll we won.
yeah, I can't do anything to help it.
Oh no, hang on.
Sorry, I missed arm day.
I'm bad at math. Musa got a 2, but Tally got a 19. You guys got a
21,
15
15 and 11.
Oh yeah.
26.
Okay. All right. With a hard tug at the ropes, you find yourselves pulling yourselves back a little bit from the brink. Team Warcry.
Rally!
All right, let's move back over to Team Warcry. Why don't you go ahead and share some information, but only one of them can be a truth. Flash.
Well, in this great beautiful world, I have found true love, but cannot be with them. Truth be told, I can play over a dozen instruments. And number 3, I want my clients to be more successful than me.
They all sound like they could be true.
I don't know about 3
Recap.
though. I think 3.
You think he's not that altruistic? I don't know. I feel like. What do you think about 2? I feel like musicians typically know a bunch of different kinds of instruments.
I would say
You're
since
good.
he sings and plays, vocal talent is an instrument, so that is already more than 1.
Yeah. Do you want to go with that?
Let's do it. Okay, number 2, please.
You.
I'm sorry, I cannot play a dozen instruments. I think I got. He holds up his fingers and starts counting like 4, 5.
That's still really cool.
That's
but
so really cool.
Thank you.
That's good. Is it 3?
Yeah, which one's true? Do you want to tell us?
I do want my clients to be more successful than me. why would I be trying to hire new talent if I couldn't want them to be better than when I was?
That's good.
Cool.
And I'm glad you don't have a love that you can't be with. That'd be
That-
sad.
I know.
My true love is music, and I tour everywhere with it.
Very interesting indeed, Candy says. Now, we've been going a couple rounds. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Just gonna say that, beautiful creature that follows us every now and then too. I mean, that could be considered love. A different page every day.
Candy looks and says, this has been going on for a little while. It's been pretty tense back and forth, but why don't we kick things into high gear? Everything stays the same, but whoever loses is pulled by 10 feet this time.
Oh, good.
All right. It's time to tug, she says.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Flash!
I was gonna use my inspiration, but it's too late.
It's too
Oh
late.
no. Tally, you feel the rope begin to slip through your hands. Luckily, Musa's holding on in her muscular form at the back, but the others are just a little less prone to pulling and are pulled 2 spaces closer to the black skull. You are so close to touching it, Domo. One more space and that's the end of
Oh
things.
no.
All right, come on, Flash. Come on, Flash. It's a rally time.
Candy says, it looks like we might be at the end of the game and some team might just be getting their compassion badges. But before that, why don't we go ahead and have you deliver a little truth and some lies, Musa?
All right. Well, first, in the first few weeks after I was created, I called this one robotic arm that helped create me mother for a little while. It was confusing. Reading through a bunch of cookbooks, I'm really excited to one day try. I think it's pizza. It sounds really good. I'm super excited to try it. So, and then my other one is when I stopped time for 6 hours. 3 people died.
Could you go through those one more time again?
She thought robotic arm was her mother for the first few weeks of her life. She's super excited to try pizza one day, and she killed 3 people by accident when she stopped time. Or whatever she did.
I turned back to Flash.
It's gotta be the pizza thing, right? Pizza's delicious.
Yeah, I'm going with pizza.
Pizza!
While pizza does sound really delicious, it's not the most thing I'm most excited for. That would be barbecue. That sounds so good. Oh my gosh.
Oh. No, alright, you got us fair and square there. Barbecue is fucking delicious.
Gosh,
So-
I'm so excited to try a good barbecue. But it's embarrassing, but I did kind of think this robotic arm was my mother for a couple weeks. So that was
Damn,
it.
that was my second guess. My eyes
I love
blinded
that.
by food, like always.
I love that so much.
Well then, it looks like it might be the final round of tugging. Make sure and both teams give it your all.
You shut your mouth, Candy. We're gonna win this.
You guys still have inspiration cards, do not forget.
But it's so good. I want to save it for because next week I'll get some shitty like casting one that I can't use. I just know.
I'm
it.
a bard. I
you don't have to
save this
use it.
one.
I'm just saying.
All right, I'm gonna. Hey, gentlemen's agreement. Nobody use advantage on this.
You don't have to agree to that, Tally.
Yeah, you're not a man, Tally.
Or not.
Hey, neither am I.
It's true. No. Oh.
Come to mommy.
Domo just risens up all the strength she has left. This is never gonna end. We're never gonna end this tug of war. We're gonna run out of things to think about, Jason.
I know. I've kicked it up a notch. Let's see what the others get. Discordian, if you buy someone inspiration with your Twitch channel points, they can stack that with their other cards. That's correct. Normally they only get one, but if chat buys them one, they get to have two.
We both rolled already. They won.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that those were the same.
I was waiting.
I'm sorry.
Thoroughly trashed us.
Yes, you guys find yourselves pulled back closer towards the original area. Also, you're gonna get some inspiration, Domo, as Candy looks towards you and says, "All right, things are looking a little better for you." And she's gonna ask you to deliver. Go ahead and take an inspiration card, and then let me get rid of.
Oh, they're all revealed to me. That's weird.
Yeah, let me delete
Domo got one, Tally got one, I got an inspiration.
Oh, shit.
Maz also got a +1.
Everyone take a card.
Jeez.
This may end things.
Yeah, wowee.
Maz, you also got a +1.
Thank you, Mousy. And Paige.
So, sorry, one more time. Do we get I get a card. Got it.
Yes.
Yep.
And you get another +1.
Can't drag this. Why do you do this to me all the time? Why? This is a bane of my existence right now. Can't even. Oh, I dragged twice. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay.
I don't even know what's going on.
Here, take this original one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
God, every single time.
All right. It rolls back to Domo for 2 lies and a truth. 2 spaces pulled if you lose it, so hopefully this won't go on for too much longer.
I'm really racking my brain here.
Do you guys want to go to 3 spaces? How about that?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Because if we win
that's
this
all right.
tug, then, if you
win the tug, it'll end it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's just kick it up. We'll do a little outside game.
Give me a second, Jason.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Again, this was an experiment. I'm sorry it went on as long, but this is fun learning some stuff about your character.
I could see this being awesome if we had our full group getting to learn a bunch of stuff about him.
I know.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
This is specifically why I held off for so long, even though some people could make it like that New Year's, as I really wanted as many people here as possible. Thank you for all those rewards that all of you got. Thank you, Paige and Mousy. That was nice of you all. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. This is so awesome to have you all here.
All right, here we go. Me favorite literature subject to read, believe it or not, elven poetry. 2, when I was in boot camp, I was going steady with 2 folks at once. Handsome goblin man and a, well, let's just say lithe eidolon lady. And 3, my I named me bow, okay? It's got a name. I whisper to it before every combat. It's good luck.
All right, let's see.
So what one was God, I can't even remember. I have to keep all this lore in my head, all this Domo deep lore. Favorite literature subject is elven poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2, when in boot camp, she had a boyfriend and a girlfriend and held steady there for a while. And 3, she named her bow and whispers to it before each combat for good luck.
I mean, I've never seen her whisper to her bow. I don't think,
Again,
at least.
We don't watch her when she's in her
Yeah.
room.
I don't know. I
Um,
feel like now learning more, it seems like she really cares about like the boot camp and when she was with the patrollers. So maybe I don't know. I feel like she maybe thought like relationship would distract her, especially two.
yeah,
what do you
let's
think?
go with that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think she likes elven poetry?
If she does, then I know what to get her for the next present. But
Next candle night, yeah.
Candle nights.
I guess I don't know. Do you want to go with poetry?
sure.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go with number 1, poetry, the elven poetry.
Cool, you were so close. Thank goodness. It was number 2. You should have seen the hustle when they found out. There's a lot of ways
they
to
didn't
build.
know?
There's a lot of ways to
Mousy.
build rapport with your squad mates. I'll just say that much.
I mean, sure.
I can't even read Elven if I'm being perfectly honest.
Candy
Asher
says.
blushes.
Candy says, "Well, that sounds like compassion if I've ever heard it. Now, go ahead and put your backs into this one. Give it a real good tug."
I'm gonna use advantage on this because this tug of war will never end if
That's
I
your
have
that's your
anything to
face,
say
Luke,
about it.
right there.
Yeah, right. I am also using my advantage.
All right.
Is everyone
Wheel 'em
just
and
gonna
deal
use
'em.
their advantage?
Oh, this one says increase your
God.
strength to save by 1. Until
Oh shit!
So perfect.
That's so
I mean, do it.
I did not realize I
You
said
got
that.
2. You got 2. You might as well
Okay.
use one of them at least.
I don't even know how to move this onto the
my
board.
Yeah, just drag
Flash.
it onto
Okay,
the
there you go.
screen.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
You're such a fucking
Ooh.
champion.
Nice.
No.
Oh my god, we
Oh.
destroyed them.
Holy.
Did Musa roll? Yeah. Oh, Musa, good roll though.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think we still won by virtue of the 19 and the
Yes,
18 though.
1,
Yeah,
2,
it was-
3. The tables turn as Team Houdini is pulled very close to the Black Skull.
We got him on the ropes, literally.
All right, Candy says, "This may be the very last of it. Tally, why don't you deliver one more truth and 2 little spicy lies?"
I don't know if it matters, but I did Dex roll again, but it probably doesn't matter. I'm sorry. It's a minus
yeah,
1
because-
either way.
It's the
They're
same
both,
roll.
They're both minus
Oh,
1
yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
so it
Okay.
takes
I
120.
I have 2 parts of a lottery ticket saved away for a rainy day since I can always redeem it. 2, I was gifted a scholarship to the Civic Combine at the age of 19 by cheating on the application. And 3, I have a research lab set in the woods where animals are my lab assistants.
Interesting.
Those are good. I got no idea. Does she seem like a cheater to you?
What was number 2 again?
I was gifted a
She-
scholarship to the Civic Combine at the age of 19 by cheating on the application.
I don't think one's true. The other 2 are up in the air for me.
I think she would have mentioned a lab before.
Yeah, I think she was gifted a scholarship.
So you do think it's number 3 then, the lab in the woods?
No, I think number 2 was 2's correct.
All right. We're calling you a cheater. You got in the exam by cheat.
That will be incorrect. I do have a research lab set in the woods where animals are my lab assistants.
That's really cool.
That was my guess. I got it.
That actually is really cool.
I was right.
All right, campers, why don't we give that rope what might be the final tug of the night?
She said that like 5 times. Keep tugging in some sort of war.
Dang it,
Oh
Domo.
my god. Oh
Domo's
my
got fucking competitive.
Holy
like,
shit.
Oh my god.
One.
I
I
will.
won! Ah!
I'm adding a +1.
Tally and Domo just lock eyes. All right.
I also had one of my +1s.
That puts us up by 1.
I'll
No,
add
no,
my last.
you were already up by. Oh wait,
were
no,
we?
we were up by 1. Oh,
You were, but I added a +1 and she added a +1. So that would put us up by 1.
If I had mine, we'd be dead even again.
We'd be dead even again.
do it,
It's dead even.
do it. Add your +1.
God, you don't have to do anything.
You can do that if you want. It's up to you.
I think you did.
No, it has to end here. Domo wants that medal. I'm gonna also spend my.
That doesn't sound very compassionate of you.
Right?
All right.
Yeah, if Domo adds his +1, that they win.
But I want me medal, so
Domo just leans back a little bit.
Yeah, you like lean back, Domo, and like just shift up onto the heels of your feet, just pulling with all your strength. As Tally, you are pulled forward and find your foot, your booted foot, tapping the black skull underneath you. Well, look at that, Candy says. Congratulations, Team Warcry. Y'all did an excellent job. And it looks like you've won the Compassion Challenge and gained yourselves a merit badge to mark the occasion. You're one step closer to completing our camp activities and fully understanding what it means to care for one another.
Domo runs over and goes,
whoa in your fucking face! We're the most compassionate! You ain't shit for compassionate!
Tally just looks between Domo and Candy, staring.
Just good try though. Good try.
Tally and Musa, you
had you
notice,
guys.
Team Houdini, you both notice that appearing on their hexi suits for Team Warcry is a new embroidered badge, this one depicting a black skull. Just seems to appear there out of nowhere.
It's an interesting badge to represent compassion, but okay.
Well, it
Suspicious.
represents how everybody's got a skull, right? So, like, that's the compassion that ties everybody together. Everyone's got a skull.
Passionate. We all have skulls. Okay.
And, like, if you break your skull, you get somebody to be compassionate and help you. It's real straightforward, really, when you think about it.
I don't know how I missed it.
Like,
Yeah, we see that now.
Candy looks to each of you and says, well, it looks like y'all gave it your all. Why don't we go ahead and head back and rest for a little while, huh? Your counselor has a few things that she needs to tend to before the next challenge is all raring to go for you. So when you're ready, come on and follow me back.
no, all right.
So go back.
Oof, that really was a close one, though.
So each of you find yourselves beginning to trail along behind Candy. Is there anything else you want to say, Nasher, before we wrap it up?
I don't know about this. I'm getting a worse feeling about this now than I was before.
Oh, we had you guys.
It's almost like we only won by a numerical decimal of 1, a single point on a die roll or something like that.
Sometimes life feels that way, doesn't it?
Sometimes it does, Musa. Sometimes it does. You know a lot for us, for someone who was born a couple days ago.
Months.
Months ago.
Tally
Learning more each day.
puts her arm over Musa's shoulder most of being nearly as tall as Tally is. We're freakishly longer.
But also the same bulk as Armstrong.
Yeah.
Just-
And as you follow along with Camp Counselor Kenny back into the brush nearby, back towards Camp Care, that is where we will end tonight's session. So thank you.
That was a good one.
I'm happy to be back playing D&D. That was a lot of fun. And thank you, chat. That was actually a lot of fun back and forth between all of you.
Yes,
Perhaps
you.
there will be more challenges in the future. And perhaps next time there will be more participants who will be engaging in each of those as well. So thank you, chat. I really appreciate it. Just a quick shout out before we end things off. I'm going to make sure and get together with you, JTM, as well as you, Tiberius, and make sure and throw you each your codes. I really appreciate you hanging out and interacting with me. I'm going to toss them your way. So congratulations. I'll be sending codes your way. Always keep an eye out on my Twitter for the latest schedule and stuff like that. I'm going to be posting these links in the chat. You can see my schedule and when I Twitch, because I do streams outside of here. I'm going to be coming back tomorrow for a Scream stream. It is my horror-related stream, because if I wasn't focusing on D&D throughout the weeks as the premier content on the channel, it would absolutely be horror games, because I love it. So I'm going to be playing Spookware. It's like WarioWare, but fun and spooky. And it's got a lot of like horror-themed micro games, and should be a lot of fun. So join me 9:30 Eastern PM time, and we'll play some of that. But we'll be back next week for more with hopefully some more players. We had some. Everyone's sick, obviously. Everyone's got the Omicron or whatever else. So had some sick people, and Nick still has to be out for some of his school stuff. So everyone should be back, including Nick, who's been out for a couple weeks now. He had to take some time off. Real life gets in the way, but that's understandable. So I should probably have a full team next time. I'm going to cross my fingers.
Yeah.
And so that will be a lot of fun. We'll see what Camp Care has next for the Unlucky 4, hopefully going to Unlucky 7 next session. If you missed any of these episodes, you can go check them out over on YouTube, or they're on VODs here if you want. If you want early access to the latest episode tonight, you can get it as early as tomorrow if you become a Patreon member. There's a whole bunch of cool digital and physical goodies over there. It helps you support the channel here, and also gets you some cool insight into the background of our homebrew world. You, at any tier, get like a cool digital guide for the world with explanation for planets and some of the interesting mechanics of our homebrew game here that's set in our custom homebrew plane, as well as some custom rules and races, some fun stuff there. We got an Instagram, and if you want to grab some merch to help support the channel but don't want it tied to like a Patreon, go over to the godmode.shop. Just released that new Vice Do You Even Lift Bro shirt today, so go check that out and grab one of those if you want. Free shipping over there as well if you punch in Do You Lift. So make sure and go check that out. And yeah, headed out for the night. I really appreciate everyone for stopping in. If you'll stick around, I'm going to go ahead and play the outro. But while I do that, I'm going to go pick a very nice person on my followed list who is also running Dungeons & Dragons to send you their way so you can continue getting your fill of D&D for the night. So thank you all so much. I'll be back tomorrow for some Scream stream. I hope you all stay safe out there. Make sure and stay hydrated. Stretch your legs. Get up from the computer every once in a while. And just to get a little moving around in. And don't get COVID. Try and stay safe. And I will catch you all next time. Goodbye, everybody!
Kids are becoming acclimated to this very kind of thing, and I began to look through the instruction manual, and I see here how to cast magical spells and mage spells and cleric spells, and you go to the pages that it's listed on, in this instance page 41, and they have complete descriptions of how to cast spells and how to contact powerful spirits and how to use these spirits and these powers to overcome obviously evil or good, because there's both white and black magic in these books. We picked up another one to see if that was just coincidence, and it's dungeon magic here. And we look through again, and we see in here casting magic spells, page 22, with a complete description. And it says here, each wizard has mastered a certain type of magic. When you meet a wizard, he will give you 4 basic elements of his mystical studies. So we have a wizard now teaching the children of his magical studies. And then here it says, it is important to remember that the source of all magic is the life force of the user. This is the teaching of the occult.